All right, fam. Time for some truthing. You know where we get to just exhale and tell our truths because typically we are muzzled a bit in this world, right? So it's time for black folks to be their true selves. And this one is coming from the second set A of truthing cards. Yes. Specifically designed for African Americans, black folks, anyone from the African diaspora.
Okay.
So today's question I feel is quite timely because this word has been attacked, particularly by conservatives. What is woke? What does woke mean to you? Do you consider yourself woke? And do you think woke has been misrepresented? But we'll talk about that. But what is woke?
To me, woke just it's more complex than what people think it is, in my opinion. I think woke is knowing who you are and how to deal with the world around you. I
So
think,
aware of the world.
but that's the simple way to put it.
No, that's deep because
Yeah,
I don't think most people even know who they are. Like, so I think being woke and knowing who you are. I mean, we talk about a lot of times when people describe woke, they talk about the world around us, but they don't talk about being woke to who you are. So I think that's actually complex what you're saying right there.
because your perception is always going to come from like the perception of your world is going to come from who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know who you are, the way you perceive the world isn't going to be in a woke way. You're not going to be able
You're
to
not
see
even looking at the
You're
world
not going
really.
to see it. Yeah, you're not going to see it in the way that God intended.
I see that. What do you think?
Yeah, I
Alicia?
definitely agree with what Yaya had to say. I'll just add to, I think there's a level of spirituality attached to it as well.
Wow.
Um, like that awareness, but being deeper than like the superficial or just like what's obvious and what's right in front of you. Um, because you have another level of understanding. I think
Another level of understanding. That's
yeah,
wokeness. I like that too. That's, yeah.
yeah,
Is Webster listening? Yeah. Go ahead.
So, but would I consider myself woke?
Yes.
Honestly, I wouldn't. I
You
wouldn't.
wouldn't. Tell it. Why?
I think that it requires a stance of really like being grounded in certain beliefs, and I look at so many nuances, and I'm open to wavering and
So you don't think you can be
shifting.
woke and open? Because I tell people, and it's funny because I do this, show, and I'm always sharing my opinion on all social media. But I tell people I disagree with myself all the time. Like, and I honestly feel like that makes me more woke because I think part of being woke is realizing how much you don't know and how much and being open to learning. So I think woke just means in some ways just I'm awake to learning about other people. So that's what I think is so because so you
Yeah, I'm saying something similar,
mhm.
but I don't know if I would have thought of book as that initially, like before hearing it. I thought it'd be like the opposite, more rigid.
Yes.
At least that's kind of what I've always
Well,
seen.
I do believe that a lot of people have attached wokeness to this pro-black, almost militant thing, and that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. And I definitely think that conservatives have taken it and made it like we're just radical people with no mission. I don't know. What do you think about it, Anthony?
Uh, I my definition of woke is self-awareness with discernment.
Mm.
For example, uh, you know yourself better than anybody, and you're not easily fooled by other people.
Okay.
I think, like, when you say, you can sway, I think that's natural. I think life experiences, when you experience life, you might change your mind.
All the time I change my mind. That's why I have these conversations. And I want them to be taped because I want people to change their minds. I want people to challenge what they think they know.
Exactly.
Right? That's what it's really about for me. Is that I realize how much I just don't know. And so having these conversations and hearing the truth, and I'm like, oh, I had no idea. Oh, okay. But I think you have to be woke to even pay attention. Because don't you think some people are going through life kind of numb
Uh,
or half asleep on just
half asleep, yes.
half asleep auto
Yeah.
mode?
Because when you're living just to survive, everything else is out the window. You don't pay attention to the news. You don't pay attention. You don't know what's going on in Israel. You don't know what's going on the other next streets. You're just
See, and
worried about surviving.
I don't think it's socioeconomics. Because I feel like
That's
you
a
could go
problem.
to some of the, like, I feel like I've met people who are down in the dumps and they are like woke. Like they know what's going on. They have like their pulse on the world. I think more about people who just like recently actually like only watch Fox News and spit out, regurgitate exactly what they say and don't think for themselves. Like they're just asleep and they're just like puppets. And they follow so closely somebody like, Trump or somebody like that, that they're not even trying to figure out what's wrong, what's right, what the nuances is in between. They're just asleep and just watching TV and whatever Fox News says, they repeat it and say it
Verbatim.
passionately. They're not trying to see the other side.
Yeah. They don't see the gray area, just black.
They don't want to see the other side.
Right.
Yeah.
That's facts.
It sounded like to me, you correct me if I'm wrong, like what you were saying was more like of a mentality and psychological thing versus socioeconomic. Like
Right.
like a big part of that, like a lot of, like our economic status can put us in survival mode, right? But at the same time it's a mentality, because once you get there, right, like all you see is, hey, I'm just trying to make it to the next hour, make it to the next day. Like, so I understand where you're coming from,
Right.
like with that, the awareness is kind of like you're not aware of anything around you because you're just really trying to get to the next, from A to B.
Oh, I have days like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel guilty sometimes because sometimes like I'll be scrolling through social media and I don't have the mental or emotional capacity to take the information that they're giving me. And I decide to remain kind of ignorant about it at that point because I just can't. I'm just trying to make it, through my personal turmoil or whatever it is I'm going through at that time.
Some days you can't even. I don't want to turn on the news because I don't want to hear about somebody getting shot. I don't want to hear about anything.
Yes.
Like I want to start my day off good. I don't want to watch the news.
Right. No, I tell people before the election when Trump became, when he started running and everything was so ugly, I used to watch. First thing in the morning, first thing I did was watch the news. I had news alerts on my phones. I just liked it. And then when he became president, and it seemed like there was always something crazy happening, I couldn't do it. Like I to this day, I do not have alerts on my phone because I was like, I'm having a nervous breakdown because there was always something. It seemed like some craziness that was happening that I wanted to not be aware
Yeah.
You
of
gotta
the
preserve your
foolishness.
energy.
But is that wokeness though? Is it wokeness to say and decide what you can and cannot take, or what's important to take or not?
I believe because it's impossible to soak in so much information. Like you're overstimulated. You have to
Yes,
like you have to have discernment in what
Exactly.
what you pay attention to
what you pay attention
and
to.
what's gonna feed you what you need. If it's not feeding you, it gotta go.
And that's the one thing, I'm glad you said that, because one thing that bothers me about the news is that they choose what's important to us. And so like how we have spent so much placed so much attention on Ukraine, and don't get me wrong, that's a serious situation.
Yeah.
But like if no one's paying attention, like what the heck is happening in Ethiopia right now, what's happening in Sudan right now, what's happening in Haiti right now, which are all just tragic, they don't report it. And it's almost like we're told, like when it's brown people or something happening to brown people or brown countries, it's not important.
There are girls still missing in Africa. Like
Oh,
they're
yeah,
still missing the schoolgirls. Still missing.
still. And it's nothing. I mean, Sudan, they're set to, like, I'm talking about thousands of people are on the brink of starvation, like children. It's just wild. So, yeah. So do you think wokeness is something that is new? Or it's always been
That's
around?
It's always been. I just think the word woke is new,
Right.
but the definition of it, I think, has always
Been around.
yeah, for sure, had to be.
But don't you think social media makes us more woke?
It depends.
Or maybe not less woke? It could go either way.
It depends on the information that you're being given.
Okay.
If like now with AI, like some people can't decipher what's fake and what's
That
not.
is so true. That is so true.
Like I think part of being woke is deciphering for you what's real and what's not.
Right, right. No, I've been seeing that. I've been paying attention to this whole Beyonce thing, and you know how people are so mad about her, and they come out with these false articles that are like viral,
Right.
and they'll say, you know, Beyonce was told off like, you know, by the Grand Ole Opry, and then, you know, they list these people who told her that, you know, she sucks and all these things. I'm like, yeah, that didn't happen. But you know, you Google it and you can't find it anywhere but this one
And people are
made up news source, and
people
people
are
believe
outraged.
it.
Yeah.
Yes, and people are outraged about it. It's fake. Yeah. I don't know. I like being woke.
So you do consider yourself like
I'm
that?
definitely, I think, woke.
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to say this. I think the definition came about with black people, right? And I feel as if, I mean, there's a lot to learn, but I definitely feel as if I am always aware of what's happening or try to be aware. And I definitely like being around people that are woke, regardless of what group they're from, right? So I would say about, you know, a white person or whatever, like, oh, she's woke. She knows what's up. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a good way to be.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think I have days where I'm woke. It goes, it's like a, you know, up and down type of thing.
What do you mean by that?
Because some days I'm more aware. Some, like you said, like you have days where you just are surviving.
But I'm saying, do you have days where you're more, I don't know, because I think the basic meaning of woke, let me just go back, is that you're aware of the plight, of black people. That's what I think that's where it came from.
Okay.
Like, this person's down, they know what's up. Like, I think that's what woke originally meant. I like the broadening of the definition that we've done here, though. But so that's what I mean by, like, I think I'm always woke. I'm always have a pulse on Black America. Try to.
You're definitely.
Well, I got
Definitely.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, I've been filming you for a while. You definitely will.
I'm the ex-clan of, yeah.
Okay.
But you think woke's a good thing? Bad thing?
Is it a good thing or bad?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's a good thing.
I mean, they tried to change it and act like it's crazy. Like, they've used woke as a terrible thing to be.
Oh yeah, they can flip it on you real quick.
Huh?
They can definitely flip it on you real quick.
Yeah, real quick.
Anything that empowers us.
That's it. Anything that empowers us. They, like, want to make it nasty.
Because you're always, not you, but like people, especially from opposing viewpoints, will always take the extreme and then try to set that as the standard. And so
That's true.
people that are radical, they want to be like, okay, like, look at how wild and crazy and secluded they want to be, and etc. And then they create this narrative. But I think if we do dial it back to maybe that original definition, it's like, okay,
I know. I think they purposely slandered the whole word because it works for them, because they don't want us to be aware.
I think some white people are surprised that Black people are prospering, because everything that throw at us, we go around.
Yes.
Go jump over.
Yes.
I think they're amazed that we keep surviving everything that they throw at us.
I agree. And I think wokeness is their worst nightmare, because if we knew, like, if people really understood what has happened to us, like understood that towns have been burned down and things like that, I think we'd be so angry. Like, I don't think we'd almost be able to function in America. So that's why they fought so much against having, our history, our real history in the schools, because I think they know that if we were aware, that things would very much change. And if we were aware, like, I think about, I'm going back to the Beyonce, for instance, when her album came out and they were like, she's appropriating our culture, she's taking country. If we knew that, I mean, cowboys came from us. They were Black people. That's why the boys in the name. Country music is from us. I mean, the banjo is from West Africa. So I feel like if we knew of our greatness, and if it were taught in schools, like, because I feel like now we're taught basically that old white men wrote every great book, did every great sculpture, came up with every great invention. If we really knew, instead of just like being stuck to 1 month, our kids would have such pride. And I believe when you're proud of yourself, you can accomplish so much. But the system to me, is designed to make us think that we ain't nothing, or we're less than. So,
I got a question.
Yes.
So have y'all seen it came out on the news that, I don't know if it's the news, but online,
Yes.
that they discovered, well, we've reviewed this, but that Jesus is black.
Oh, that's been discovered.
But they actually came out and like, they're on the stadium, on the podium saying this.
Oh, they've been saying it forever, but they just like you might just see one news source. It's not going to be on CBS news.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's been proven
Okay.
time and time
Okay,
again.
that's interesting.
And the original genes and being a black woman and all that stuff. Yes, that's been proven. But again, that's another thing. They don't want us to be
I never
woke
seen
about.
them come out and say it.
They're not going
Okay.
to.
They just recently did. I don't think.
No, they have before. No, I mean
they
yes, they
have?
did. But I mean,
This is the first one?
it's not new that they.
Oh, okay.
But they don't want us to know. I mean, and then they change it, like how now Egypt suddenly is not a part of Africa.
That's crazy.
They just change, like this just changed it. Yeah. Well, anyway, y'all, thank you for discussing wokeness with me. I want to know what you think out there. Do some truthing. Let me know what you think about wokeness. Thanks for tuning in. All right, that's done.
Okay. That was nice.
Okay.